Um,
Recording is in progress.
Recording in progress. Welcome to our second episode of Let's Go Feral, a podcast where we're just going feral. We don't care about the rules or the laws of society or logic. We're just going feral. I'm recording this from my house, and my neighbors upstairs are noisy, so we might hear some footsteps. My dog is right behind me on my bed. There she is. She's sleeping. Say hi to Sadie, guys.
She
She's
heard herself mention Sadie? I said
Sadie.
Sadie?
So she's protecting me always. That's her job. I didn't hire her for it, but that's what she likes to do is protect me. And we might get some barking, but I've turned off all the lights in here to not overstimulate her. But that's not what this podcast is about. This podcast is about my friends who have agreed to talk to me about their paranormal and strange experiences. So, first, I'd like to introduce to you my dear friend Virginia Jones. Say hi, Virginia.
Hello.
Oh, that was very, very demure.
Well, hello. I'm Virginia Jones. I'm a stand-up comedian and longtime friend of Andy Main.
Longtime friend. Wow, I would have only considered us friends in the last week or so.
That's on you.
And we have my newest friend ever, like brand new friend. We just became friends seconds ago. Welcome to the podcast, Becky. I don't know your last name, Becky.
Becky Thompson, and I am a Brit in Canada in Nova Scotia.
The
And I
most. Go ahead. Sorry.
and I met you because somebody shared a video of you on the beach, and I related really hard, and I wrote to you, and then that's how it happened. Yeah.
It's very cute. Yeah, you said we look alike and we sound alike. And I do, Virginia, do you think that we look alike, me and Becky?
There's a lot of hair similarities that I'm seeing.
Yeah, yeah. And beautiful, bright smiles, I gotta
Yes.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah. Exquisite bone structure, I might as
I
well
get it.
Both of us. Yeah. Look at those cheeks. Clever.
add. Look
Wait,
at this.
maybe I should just log off and let you guys continue this dick suck conversation.
Yeah, we fell in love on a beach. And just,
just one on the left and one on the right. And
So, Becky, the Nova Scotia accent is kind of like it's kind of Irish, right? It sounds Irish to me.
yeah, more in Newfoundland it does. It's
Newfies, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot of Newfoundlanders live in Nova Scotia as well, and they
Mhm.
always say that they'll go back there, but a lot of them settle here.
They
But
just don't. Right, right, right.
no, and I
Right.
can't get rid of this. Like I sound like I did 23 years ago when we first got here. Like I
And I'm
sound,
sure you don't sound exact. I'm sure it's softened out a little bit. I have a sister and who's American living in London.
yeah,
So she's gradually
yeah,
turning up and I was talking to my other sister about it. I'm like, I don't know why we expect people to speak the same as they did when they were children until they die.
yes,
You know, is your husband also British?
yeah. He's British too.
See,
Neither
I
one.
think that helps.
Yeah, and we've got two kids, and they're completely Canadian. Like you'd never
Right.
know. One,
No.
one in fact, didn't even start talking until we came over here, and she was like over 3, and she still hadn't said a word. And then when she started talking, it was completely Canadian. It was really cute.
hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I have these British nephews, but I was talking to my other sister who was complaining about the British sister. Uh, and I'm like, if she speaks in a flat American accent all the time, people are not going to understand her. Like she has to adjust her speech a little bit because she's gonna like talk until she's blue in the face about, trucks and yards.
Yeah,
Which we
And
all do. We love,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. She can't go into the store and say, I want arugula. She has to say rocket, or they're gonna just stare at her.
or
I
he.
was I was with a British man for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then we broke up and he went back to England. But good for
Where he
him.
belongs.
Where he belongs.
What
Yeah.
you do? Don't
Yeah.
let the door hit you.
Yeah. But I feel like I did him a favor, you know. I think he owes me.
Especially
Um,
now.
Especially now. Yeah. Like that's the funniest thing is that he was here very deeply, profoundly illegally, but no one cared because he was white and he had a British accent and was like,
Got
oh
away with
look,
it.
it's the chimney sweep. Let's let him in.
You can do no wrong if you've got a British accent.
Yeah. And it was obnoxious for me because I would just watch people talk to him at the bar, having the same conversation over and over again about his stupid accent. And um, he would enjoy it every time. He would love the attention that people gave him for just not being able to put his R's in the right place in a word.
Okay, Andy, I might have asked you this before, but give me your, after years of marriage, give me your best British accent.
Well then, I went to the store the other day.
Oh no, he just had a head injury.
No.
That's just mental illness.
That wasn't me impersonating him.
It was just a Cockney.
Yeah.
A Cockney you saw once.
Here's my impression of my ex, British Paul. Oi, governor! Oh, Tottenham! Hey, come on, you Spurs! Hey, fuck Arsenal! Hey, you gooners!
I understand more and more why you got married.
Yeah. Well, like, he was a British punk rocker.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And like, as a child of the 80s, I think that was imprinted on me as something to aspire to marry.
100%.
Yeah. So I think, we had a good relationship, and I have no ill will towards him. And he's probably gonna listen to this podcast. So hey, Paul.
Hope you enjoyed the spot on perfect accent that Virginia forced Andy to do.
Yes. But Virginia, I have a couple questions for you to interview you before we get started.
Okay.
On our fun little paranormal stories. So my first question, Virginia, is who the hell are you?
I think this is something that everyone needs to ask themselves every day. The existentialists knew that an unexamined life is not worth living. So I'm a stand-up comedian of absolutely no note whatever. My biggest achievement is doing it 20 years consecutively without quitting. And I am also a TikToker of small renown. And my third thing is I feel like I'm doing, at this point in my life, competitive level Ms. Pac-Man playing. I feel like
Whoa.
I can get a lot of screens under my belt.
Wow.
I feel like I especially like it when it's a fast machine. It's set to the fast thing. Because I've developed, it's like a speed chess skill.
Wow. Yeah. So it's like if you tried to play it on the low setting, you wouldn't even be able to be competitive because you're like so in tune with the quickness.
I can compete on the slower one. And like by the time you get to the 5th screen, 6th screen, it gets to that speed anyway. I just prefer a fast machine.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't know that you were competitive Miss Pac-Man. Or do you ever play Mr. Pac-Man, or is that just,
I feel like that's anti-feminist.
Yeah, that's important. It's important to have those standards.
They're very different games. She has lipstick and
a little bow,
a bow and a beauty mark. So
clearly,
wow. A whole different game.
Yeah, yeah. Is there any other differences in the actual gameplay besides the graphics?
How dare you?
All right. Wow. Virginia, how would you describe your gender and your sexuality?
I am a cis woman and I'm straight.
That's so boring.
I didn't choose it. I know. It's my least favorite thing about myself. Slept with a couple girls in college. That was the requirement. It was on my transcripts.
Did you get good marks?
I got okay marks. I'm still friends with one of them.
That's good.
I think that because of the age that I am, which is Gen X, and the society
what?
Gen X.
Oh, Gen X. Okay, you said it oddly.
No, I'm saying it right, and everyone else is wrong.
Okay.
I think because I am Gen X, I was raised that even though I might be attracted to women, my relationships are going to be with men, and that's my social programming. I'd actually took the Kinsey test a couple years ago, and it told me, you're not queer enough to bother anyone else with. Just keep it to yourself. Don't tell the family at Thanksgiving. Don't fucking leave it. Stay in the closet. It's okay.
That is good advice, because it's like, we don't need to talk about you sleeping with dudes at the Thanksgiving table.
No. no one cares. They
Yeah,
assume that I am because they know that I'm a whore.
a hooer. Yes. Okay, I have some more questions here. I'm just gonna ask them, and I wanted to ask rude questions. I was
You're
thinking,
doing it.
yeah, I was thinking about this ahead of time. I'm like, I don't really like doing this, but I feel compelled to. Um, what is your height and weight?
Thanks so much for asking. I am almost 5'11",
Okay,
and I am right now around 220,
nice.
like my goal is 2 bills, which we're not so very far from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told myself that after a lifetime of striving, I'm going to be happy at 2 bills. I'm going to be as happy as a pig in the proverbial shit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. I haven't weighed myself in over a year, so I don't know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Um
Probably
I
more than a bag of potatoes, but less than a car.
yeah, I definitely weigh less than most cars.
Maybe not a smart car.
Not a smart car. Becky, what's your height and weight?
I think
Didn't even ask me my age. I'm going to be 53, Andy.
When's your birthday, Virginia?
January 15th.
Oh my God, she's gonna be 53 and weighing 200 something pounds on January 15th. Hell yeah.
All right, Becky, what's your stats?
no.
Person we just met.
What's your height and weight, Becky?
My height. I always said that I was 5'8", but I'm actually 5'7" 7". So there you go.
Oh,
There's a lie.
if
Exploding myths with strangers. And
This is
and
safe space.
yeah, and my weight, I really don't I really don't know. I'm guessing I'm looking at myself for a clue. I'm guessing about 170 pounds,
okay, that's great.
somewhere in there, you know.
Well, after you eat those shortbread cookies, it might be like
Yeah.
171,
Yeah.
172.
Certainly the caramel might be completely fucked, so it might just be shortbread, that's it. So anyway. And age, I'm a January 5th baby.
Oh, wow.
I'm actually turning 55 next on
Woo, woo,
January
woo, woo.
coming up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Coming right up. Now, what do
Welcome.
you do, Becky, to prepare for the next age? Because I've been referring to myself as about to be 53 for a couple months.
Oh, have you? I
So it's not a shock.
No, I haven't been talking about it at all to myself. I found myself, I spend a lot of time with older people. Like my hiking group is full of like older people and
Slow
oh
hiking.
yeah, actually. No, the girls go fast. And I don't know. I just can't wrap my head around that number. And I realize that I think when I was a young thing, when I used to look at people this
Right.
age, I just completely like,
Right.
like, what have they got to tell me about anything? And
Right.
yet we know so much. We're so wise. So in preparation for the next little bit, this is my first year of ever writing down my wishes for the year ahead.
Oh,
Hmm.
cool.
And I've got a little candle and I've got a little silk bag and I've written down 13 things that I'd like the universe to have. And every night for the next 12 nights, is that right? I've been revising this. You have to read it out as if it's already happened, burn it, and then the last one is the only one you have responsibility for, the last thing, and you don't know what it's going to be. And and then that's the only one that you have responsibility for. The
That
other
you have
things,
to work towards. The other things are going to come to you.
Oh,
Big witch shit, Becky.
yeah. Yeah. A bunch of middle aged white witches. Who would
yeah.
have thought?
I did one year I talked about myself in the future for too much and I actually fucked up and like for a whole like I thought I was about to turn say I don't know 45 but I was going to turning 44. So that's some way it can like backfire on you.
Yeah.
You made yourself a year older.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, I get to have that whole other year." But age is just a number as they say. My least favorite thing about being in my 50s and most of the things I love, but like it is to your point, Becky, TikTok children and other people going, "Oh my God,
Well, it's because your skin
I
is
can't
amazing, to be
believe." Well,
honest with you.
thank you, but it's like, what did you think 50 looks like? And the answer is a grandma Moses type.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I thought 50 was just a bundle of laundry in the corner.
I think I saw a photo of a bunch of 40-year-old women in the 70s,
Hmm.
and they all looked terrible because we smoked inside and we didn't wear sunscreen back then.
And nobody drank water either.
Yeah. So I think that the generations that have followed have redefined aging, not just through plastic surgery and Mar-a-Lago face, but because we're just taking care of ourselves. And a lot of people's shock about your age is that Virginia, you don't look 50 at all. Like you could be a 30-year-old with a lot of
Yeah.
experience.
Right, who'd had a hard life.
Yeah, you could be a messed up 30-year-old.
That's the nicest things anyone said to me all
Thank you
day.
so much. Virginia, do you believe in God?
I don't. And it's been a long, interesting road. As you may or may not know, I was raised Mormon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, raised Mormon in the south of France, and
In the south of France?
well,
For
and
how long were you French?
just a petite jeune fille. I left when I was 8.
I had no idea that you were French.
Um, ethnically, I'm embarrassingly Irish, but so
You're the
um,
tallest Irish lady ever.
it's true. It's true. So but my whole family was Mormon. I guess that's usually how it happens.
You weren't just like a 3-year-old who decided to be a
You know
Mormon.
what? I'm changing the course. But when I was 13, my father decided to leave the church because he wanted to, smoke cigarettes and drink and divorce my mother.
Hell yeah,
Uh
brother.
and then he was like, but I stayed going because I was brainwashed. It was a very Hitler Youth thing. They were like, if we
Hmm.
have the kids, the parents will
Yeah.
come. And I went for another year and a half. And when I found out that the Mormon Church had excommunicated women for supporting the Equal Rights Amendment in the 70s,
Hmm.
I was like, okay, that's it for me. I was already a little feminist person.
How old were
And
you when you were around?
13, 14.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I left, and then my father's like, well, we're Episcopalian now. But it's like, he was a convert, so he had been taught the church and he had chosen to accept it. I was born into it, like Bane from the Batman movies. And uh, like I was like, you're just gonna walk away from like the talking rocks and the Native Americans and the space Jesus and everything. And so like once I thought that Mormonism was bullshit, I'm like, well, all religions are bullshit. And so I went from like devout Mormon kid to atheist within 6 weeks.
Whoa.
It was pretty
Um,
yeah.
do Mormons believe in hell?
Yes, but it might be Earth. Okay. So
We might be in it right now. If
we might be
that's
in it
the
right now.
case, I'm Mormon.
Ah! So there's 3 heavens. There's not really a hell, but there's the good heaven that all Mormons want to get to. That's celestial heaven.
Mhm.
And that's where you hang out with God, you hang out with Jesus. And then there's celestial heaven, which is slightly worse. Good people who were not Mormons get to go to the middle heaven.
Mm.
Jesus visits, he comes on trips, okay? But he's not there all the time.
He's like in good heaven and he's packing up his bags and he's like, oh, I gotta go down to
Gotta go.
mediocre
Oh, it's
heaven
time for my
again.
quarterly with with Plato and Aristotle. And then the lowest one is terrestrial heaven, and it's Earth. And it's Earth, but it's Earth after the end of the world.
Oh, so
That's where
next
all
week.
the yes. And the the whole Mormon church, the history of the Mormon church, sorry, Andy, is a shell game. This guy made up this stuff, and then he was constantly like making up other stuff to cover errors that he had made. And
I've
so,
never heard of a religious leader doing that in my life.
no, but so he made up this whole thing about you have to be a baptized Mormon, and then people were like, well, this is the 19th century. Like everybody before now is just going to the crappy heaven. And so then he made up baptism of the dead so that you could baptize your ancestors or other people's ancestors. So if they were a good person, they could get sucked into celestial heaven.
Oh my God. So you can just be walking around in mediocre
And
heaven
then,
and get
yeah,
stuck to a good heaven.
because a relative of yours is standing in a temple wearing white polyester and being baptized on your behalf.
Wow. Wow. That, this conversation kind of reminds me of like I've been messing with metaphysical thoughts lately. Like that's kind of how I came to find myself standing on the ocean screaming, and that's how Becky found me. Is that I've been on a reluctant spiritual journey where I'm questioning more about the nature of reality. And now I'm forgetting the train of thought. But
You've been experimenting with metaphysical
yeah, but
thought.
what did you say right before that?
Celestial heaven.
Yeah. God, this is so embarrassing. I had such a great idea and I
I
lost
know
it.
ADHD is a hell of a drug, and we're
It
all
is.
on it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. What keeps you up at night, Virginia?
Very little.
Okay, you're a good sleeper.
I like to have sex before I go to bed, and then that's
Nice.
it.
I like sex in the mornings better. Becky, what about you?
Sex on a Sunday afternoon about now is usually quite good. So
Before the cookies go
offspring.
in the oven.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. True. Yeah. Sunday afternoons, all good.
Okay, and then let's see.
Let's
Uh,
ask Becky more rude questions.
Yeah, I love it. I love asking British people rude things. It's like part of my it's part of my Americanisms. Like we rejected the colony, we stood up
Uh,
for ourselves, we threw all the tea in the harbor, and now I get to be rude to British people. That's my heritage.
yeah.
Although, Andy was asking me what my favorite paranormal thing is. And honestly, a lot of my most fun paranormal ideas are about the Mormon church. Joseph Smith also married himself. He baptized, like you can marry someone in the temple and then you're married to them in heaven. He got sealed to a bunch of celebrities who then he thought would have to have sex with him in the
Wait,
afterlife, like
are you talking
really
about like celebrities of the
of
1800s?
the times. He did not know who Lady Gaga was.
Yeah, okay.
But
I just
like,
had to check because time is
yeah,
not linear.
no, that's true. But like famous actresses and like Florence Nightingale and Lily Langtry and stuff, like he got sealed to them
Mae West.
in Mae West in a very might be a little later, but in a very creepy way, with the idea that these poor women after death would wake up next to him and he's like, "We're married, baby."
That's
Oh,
I mean,
Okay,
I would be a little honored if that happened to me. I don't think I'd be excited about the results, but I'd be like, "Oh, he chose me." But that's for myself to unpack.
all right. All eyes on Becky, not me
Becky,
interrupting anymore.
Becky, do you believe in God?
no, I tried. I liked the idea of it, and when I was a kid growing up, I liked being in churches because lovely old buildings and things. And then when I was about 12, we moved to a village where my mum was the village school teacher, and there was a beautiful church designed by a woman in the 18th century, 19th century, and it was gorgeous. And so I used to sit there and look at all the lovely windows and stuff and think, I wish that I felt it, like whatever.
Yeah,
I don't. I like being in the building because it's pretty, but I don't like it. And
that
you know,
yeah. The
But I
wishing I
think
would feel it is how I feel about it. And that's what my original thought was that I interrupted myself with is I grew up Catholic and I grew up praying every night and I never felt anything. And then by the ripe old age of 7, I was like, I don't think I believe in this.
no,
And I don't believe in Santa either.
yeah.
whoa,
A
Yeah,
cousin.
dropping hot heat.
hot takes for a 7-year-old. I barely knew how to read, but um, and then I spent a couple of years in the anxiety of, well, if I live in a Catholic home and
Yeah.
I don't believe in God, I have to keep this a secret. And
Mhm.
also, I'm deeply scared of waking up one morning possessed by the devil.
Yes.
Okay.
That was an anxiety that I faced every night. And then when I was like 9 years old, there was a 2020, like the tabloid TV show that we have here in America. There was a TV show, like a nighttime TV show. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, they had an exorcism on the TV,
Oh,
and I can literally remember what this little girl said while she was possessed by the devil. She said, "Me no want to leave, booga booga." And that scared the hell out of me. I thought about it every day. And then by the time I got to 5th grade, I think I just was like, I don't believe in any of this and it's fine.
Booga
So,
booga.
ooga booga. Yeah. Satan has a wide vocabulary.
I would think so. I might be wrong about half of this, but I've always considered the UK to be in general more agnostic than the States. But we're getting there. Like the self-proclaimed Christians have gone from 90% in the 90s to like 62% today.
Oh, wow.
We're dropping like flies. But I do think that like Henry the Eighth has a lot to do with that. Like just having someone make up a church because he wanted to bang somebody, like that's not a good like foundation to build a
Um,
religion on.
yeah, no. You can get divorced in this part of the church, but not in this part of the church. So let's make a part of the church that fits in with that. It's creepy.
Yeah.
No,
Hmm.
there's nothing good. Um, and as an outsider, like looking at the States, I was always amazed, like when kids, my kids' ages, had Bible verses and stuff in their bios and everything. I go, what's that all about?
Whoa.
Like the proliferation of crucifixes and everything around people's necks and everything. That's like a real thing. And it's only just like the last few years that I've really paid attention to the folks, the Billy Graham, the
The evangelical
Evangelists.
crazy
that,
yelling people.
yeah, that stuff. Because we've moved into quite a rural town here. And there were people who participate in that, all holding up their signs with, you are a sinner, and, God hates, all
God
that.
hates F slurs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All that stuff, gross. And that seems to be a church that's affiliated with an American church. And like, it's really shocking. Like it's,
I didn't know that those jerks made it up to Canada.
yeah, they've come up here and, help, sort of just in little churches and encouraging kids to withdraw from school and homeschool. So there is like that's going on.
Yeah. Well, America is becoming less religious, yet we're also becoming stupider. So I don't know how to,
Both things are true.
yeah, I don't know how to square that circle.
Yeah.
Um, Virginia, why did you agree to do this podcast?
Um, I shouldn't have because I did a podcast yesterday and then I did one this morning with my sister and I was supposed to do two, but we ran out of time. So it's a podcast intensive weekend. My partner did a podcast yesterday. We just been podcast. My brain is empty.
Yeah.
But why
Well,
did I do it? Because I tend to do the things that you asked me to do if it's not impossible.
And
you.
I'm a podcast virgin.
And what?
Yeah, and I'm a podcast virgin.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome. Do you feel like maybe you want to go to Joe Rogan after this one? Like you start off here and then
Yeah, is your warm up. Now, Becky, I will warn you, and you seem to be a pretty together lady. When the first time I started doing a podcast, and I'd been doing comedy for like a clean decade, but the first time they put a microphone in front of me, I just terrible secrets started spilling out. Like I just like it is something I had to work through, and I had just got a divorce, and I talked a lot of shit about my ex-husband, a lot of shit, and and he wound up listening
Yeah.
and complaining to me about it. And I'm like, hey, you cheated on me. Don't follow me. Don't listen to what you're not, it's not going to be anything good.
This is why we got divorced, because I
Right.
don't want you in my life. Yeah.
No. But I just had to get through that phase. Like in art school, they tell you you've got like 1,000 bad drawings in your hand and you've just got to get them all out.
Mm.
I had to just exercise the desire to just to spill everything on a podcast.
Everything. Well,
Yeah,
I
but
think
now I'm better at it.
yeah, if I was coming out of a relationship, yes, I can understand that thing. But definitely, I'm sure that my beloved is within hearing shot. So
That'll keep you in
everything.
reasonable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not
Okay.
even nearly divorced.
He knows that sex might be on the table when the cookies are done. So
Yeah,
it's gonna behoove him to behave.
I'm glad sex is happening after the cookies were
yeah,
on
yeah,
the table.
yeah.
Otherwise, those might get a little salty. Uh, um,
Ew. I
um,
quit.
yeah, this is a bad idea from the beginning. Virginia, what's the dumbest thing a man has ever said to you in the world of comedy?
Oh God, Andy. A very nice guy who was well-meaning, told me, well, of course, if a guy takes you on the road to feature, like to work with you. So like
Oh
headliners
no.
will pick a feature to take on the road with them, and it's a great way to get more experience and get more stage time and kind of become more seasoned. He said, well, of course they wanted to sleep with you if they took you on the road. If they didn't, they would just take a man like normal.
Oh, yeah, but that also he's kind of right.
He's 100% correct. But he didn't understand why this made me frustrated because it's like this is a huge part of becoming a better comic. And if it's only limited to people who are doing it because they want to bang me, that's going to be really hard. That's going to be really tough.
Yeah, it is. It's tough
Um,
out there.
I was told, of course, to smile more. Um,
Sure.
I was
Look
told,
at that RBF.
I was told to, because I'm a woman, never talk about dogs, dating, or dieting. And
Wait,
this
who
is
told
something
that?
a man who had never done comedy.
Why does he not want us to talk about dogs?
Because he's like, that's the cliche. That's what everybody expects of you.
It wasn't even about our periods, it was about our dogs.
I'm sure if I'd asked about periods, he would have put the kibosh on that. What's the dumbest thing a man's ever said to you?
Oh boy. I don't know how bitter I should go for this. um Gosh, no one, well, I just think the dumbest thing that men do to me in general, like the first thing that popped into my head was a scene that happened in Denver where there's this one guy who would just like at the comedy club, we have to all sign up to go up on the magic list, and then they make us wait in this holding room for like an hour before the list comes out, and so all
Wow.
the comics are supposed to socialize, but that's terrible. And this one guy would use that time to corner people and work his bits out on people,
Mm.
and it was so blatant and obvious, and like there's nothing worse than having a conversation with someone and then seeing that conversation on stage later because they were just trying to work out their bits on you.
Unfortunately, I that's how I write also, so I feel guilty not even having done it.
But you're funny, so it's different. Like you're deeply hilarious. This guy was all
Appreciated.
like, I mean, it was
Right.
terrible. And then later on, he tried to tell everyone that I was rude and like arrogant. And I'm like, no, I just didn't think you were funny because you're
Right.
not.
Right.
Um, so I think that's one of the dumbest things that's ever happened to me in comedy.
Pretty dumb.
Um, yeah, I wasn't prepared for my own questions to be shoved back in my face like that.
Strange. Amy Miller just told me that she was in town. She did a micro visit and I yelled at her. But in truth, it was so short I wouldn't have probably been able to see her anyway. But she was just here for a corporate and then she got talked into doing Funhouse Lounge. And the man running the open mic, the midnight mic at Funhouse Lounge, asked her if she'd ever done comedy before.
Oh,
And it's just like, when does it end? And the answer is when we die.
yeah,
That's when it ends.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Becky, what's the dumbest thing a man has said to you ever?
Well, I was just thinking, it wasn't that he was dumb, but what he did, I think you'll like. I was at a, a, a well-known in Nova Scotia artist's funeral,
Mhm.
really great guy. And I was sitting, they had a tiny little room and you could just sit and look through his sketchbooks. And and so I was sitting looking through his sketchbooks and smart, and he used to share them long form with emails and a little sketch and a little bit of writing. And and when I was sitting looking through, this guy that I'd never met before came and sat down. And he said, "Hey, what's in here?" And I said, "Well, there's like mountains of these sketchbooks." And I started talking to him about what they meant to me and how this particular artist had shared them with me over the years, and he'd shared them with the big community. And and then when we went through to the main room for the memorial, three people were going with the man guy's widow were there, and anyway, and these three people who lined up to give their talk to a crowded gallery full of people. One of them was the guy that I'd been talking to with sketchbooks. So he starts with his piece of paper and he brings it out and he starts talking formally about the deceased's life and everything. And then he says, I'm in the corner of the room, like there's a few hundred people there. And he says, "Oh, you know what? I just want to talk from the heart. And he gets his piece of paper and he folds it and he puts it in his pocket. And then he speaks. He says almost exactly what I was talking about in the bloody little room with the sketchbooks. I was talking about how they were fresh commentary and it reflected how he was as a person.
What a dillweed.
Oh,
And I was stood there. I mean,
Mouth agape.
I couldn't believe it. And I still see that person, like she's still here practicing her art and everything. And I've never said to her, because I just think, and everybody was smiling and he got, oh, I got a great big round of applause. Sorry.
Becky, I apologize. I assumed it was a man from the jump.
yeah.
The fact that a lady did you like that? Come on.
Oh, what a ladder kicking maneuver.
What a douche. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it when British people say what a douche. That's so good. Anytime you use an American slang term in your British accent, it makes me love you a little bit more.
It's cute.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, friends. Now that we've gotten to learn so much about each other, the reason I invited my new best friend, mild-mannered Becky, previously of England, now of Nova Scotia, onto my podcast is because she has stories of firsthand alien encounters.
Ooh.
Virginia, do you believe in aliens?
Probably. Yeah. I think odds are good.
Yeah.
Like statistically, the odds that there's no other life forms are low. I think that the odds that they walk and talk like us and we can have sex with them is also low.
Well, my dating life would
Disagree.
beg to differ. Yeah.
Right?
I have banged so many men that the only thing that you could help you could understand why it happened is if they were aliens. That's the only
Got it.
Yeah. Becky, before you had this encounter, did you believe in aliens?
No, not really. And I've never been interested in science fiction.
Oh, but now she
That's
can't
one of
stop
us.
watching. Now she can't stop watching Star Trek.
It's just no. It wasn't something that I'd been even thinking about.
Mhm.
And
Well, let's start from the beginning. Where you said you had 3 alien encounters, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So in the space of 1 week, back in September 2021,
Oh,
I was walking down. Oh, 2 happened in back then.
by the
So-
way, before we get started, that's
Yes.
my sober date, September 2021. That's when I went sober. So my sobriety is as old as your alien encounters.
I am gobsmacked. Please continue.
So I was walking. It was 9:15 in the morning, 9:15, walking down a street in this rural town, and there was at the time a great big church on the left-hand side. It's since burnt down. The two aren't connected. But as we walked past, I looked up into the sky, and
What time of day was this?
9:15 in the morning,
Okay.
and completely clear sky, and looked up into the sky, and there was what I can only describe as like in the cartoon idea of what a UFO looks like. It
Ooh.
looked like your classic saucer, and it was just hovering. It was absolutely static. And I remember
How far up in the sky was it?
So it was about 2 football pitches up in the sky.
That's so funny because every time anyone describes alien encounters in all of the so-called research I've been doing, they always use football pitches as the way to describe the length.
The first time I did it because of the Tottenham Spurs earlier. So about a field and a half up in the sky, absolutely static, and the sun was shining on it. And then we walked past the church, and I knew
Who are you with?
me and the dog.
Okay.
And so when I got past the church, I knew when I looked up that it would still be there. And when I got past the building that was obscuring the view of it, because we were close to it, it had completely gone.
Ooh.
So that was the Monday of the 3rd week in September. And I didn't mention it, and I love my husband so much, but I just kept it to myself. I was like, well, that was freaky.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody else was reacting or anything, so I carried on.
The dog didn't say anything.
She didn't say anything, but she's a boxer, and they keep their ideas.
Yeah, they're pretty tight-lipped.
Yeah.
Still waters run deep.
Exactly. Those eyes. And then on the Wednesday of the exact same week, I was driving up the valley. So it's a long straight road and mountains either side. and there is a military base further up the said valley. And as I'm driving, knowing what happened on the Monday, on the Wednesday, I looked up into the sky, and I'm just about to pass underneath a motor highway bridge.
Mhm.
Up in the sky, completely static, was a massive sphere, like a massive
Oh,
static dark sphere, huge. Not like when you look for things now, they have little ball things up in the sky. But this thing was about, it's really hard as well. The size thing is difficult. But if you squished a really big farm, you can tell I live rurally. If you squished a really big farm and all its silos and barns and stuff together, and you made a great big ball, it was as big as that. It was really, really big.
That's
And
a
it,
new unit of measurement I'm going to be
Yeah,
using.
it's not as big as a house. It's as big as a farm.
it's a
Yeah.
farm,
Squished farm.
A squished farm.
probably dairy. And yeah, with the addition of a barn that the farmer keeps his aeroplane in. So it was big anyway. I went underneath the
Big
bridge,
black thing in the sky.
big dark thing. And then when I went underneath the bridge, it wasn't there anymore again. So that was it. I did have I didn't want to reveal that to a doctor because I didn't want somebody to say, "Oh, you're seeing things." But I did, by the by, go to my doctor and say, I'm not, it was 2021, feeling funny.
Hmm.
I said I would, I just wonder about ADHD and, all these things. I
And
just,
hallucinations.
Yes.
know,
What part of ADHD is
see,
paranormal sightings, doctor? Did my alien make Andy Main sober? Can you answer that, doctor?
Yeah, because I
same
went
month.
sober September 21st. So that is the third week in September.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Anyway, so coincidence. Maybe
No, there's no
No.
coincidences.
no coincidences. So that happened. I did have an appointment, and when I got to the hospital where the referral was, where this doctor was going to be talking to me,
Under what guise did you make the appointment?
we made the appointment because hormonally I was all over the place, and so emotionally and all of that, I thought I would, and not being able to focus and concentrate and finishing a thousand things, starting
Okay.
a thousand things and finishing a thing, that.
Yeah. So
So
you're already feeling chaotic in your brain, and
I was,
then
yeah.
and
And so,
then you see a goddamn farm shoved in a bowl, crammed into a ball in the sky.
so anyway, I saw the guy, and then he wasn't a really nice guy. In fact, he walked past me in the hallway, and I turned to my husband and I said, "I hope that's not him. I hope that's not the person who I've got to talk to about intimate stuff and possibly having seen something that, is very out of the ordinary twice." And the guy walked past, and he had one of those hairstyles that are like they have to flick all the time. It was very fashionable. And he had a tight black shirt and a tight black jeans on, and then brown shoes that were very long and pointed.
Ooh, he sounded foxy up until that moment.
No,
Right.
not
That was
foxy.
where it turned.
Yeah, and then he had a tiny little cup, and it was coffee. And when you really want a coffee, and there's one person drinking the coffee, and it's all you can smell, and you really want it. He had a little cup, and he put it down. And he went, "I got that from Japan." Yeah, I was in Japan not so long ago, and I picked this cup up. Oh, sorry, carry on. And his student, he was in the room as well. He
Like
was
his intern.
yeah, intern, that's the word.
Yeah.
He was sitting opposite us and opposite me, and he was really listening and asking questions about mental health and all of this. And then when this guy, like when his intern said, "Yeah, I think that's right about something," he said to this guy, and this guy's just sitting doodling at his desk, just, "Oh, sorry, what?" So I knew that he wasn't tuned in. So when it came to, "Have you got any other concerns?" I just went, "No, no other concerns, everything's fine." So I carried on, like for the next few years. I told a handful of people. I told our two kids, and they were like, "What?" I told two of my best friends, and I told Tom, of course. And that was it. So I left it and I just thought, I really believe in that sort of phenomena now. That is me. And I looked at Enigma Labs and Beyond the Radar on Instagram, and they're really good pages, and they have a lot of people's accounts and everything. So I just left it. Well, on the 13th of May, 2025, this year.
That's my relapse date. No, I'm kidding.
You're naughty. On the 13th of May, a friend of mine had been away and she's planning her wedding. So and I hadn't told her about this. She didn't know about my previous sightings. And we were traveling in the car on a sunny day, and she's talking to me about the thing. And up in the sky, I see a saucer. I've got chills right now.
Me too.
I see a saucer. And I know, because I do that road a lot, that I'm not going to be able to see it again until a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So she's carrying on telling me about choosing her shoes for the wedding and bags and fabrics and, going out with friends in Ontario. And I was sort of listening, but I was also thinking, Jesus Christ, please be there. Please be there.
Wait. So you're driving?
Yeah.
Okay. You're multitasking a lot in this moment. You're being a supportive friend. You're driving. And you're dealing with the universe, the universe.
Yeah. And excited, because I'd figured in my head, maybe they select people to show themselves to.
Yeah.
And I'll always be by myself and I'll never see one with anybody else. So I was kind of frantic, like stress sweats, like amazing. So we're driving along, and then it's there. We get to the side of the road and it's there. And I say to my friend Jessie, and she's still talking, I say, Jessie, look up to the right now. Call it. I was so like, and I said, what can you see right now? And she went, she was just like, just swear, just like spew swearing, just like. She put her fingers up to the windscreen, and she pressed her fingers up to the windscreen and measured like that. And she said, it's 2 inches from here. Mm-hmm. And it was distant, and she said, but that means that it's as wide as a field. honestly. And it was so exciting. And then I said, what color is it? And we're driving, and I said, can you get your phone? And she went, I don't want to stop looking at it. And I said, can you take a photograph? And she was like, she was carrying on right.
Yeah, because this is your third sighting. This is her first. You got to have empathy for that.
So I was able to say, like, what color is it? What about the light source? How big is it? Is it moving? And on that, on the rectangle, there's a big old hurricane plane. Like, it's a big old, very old plane that they send up into the sky from the military base. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of like a regular rectangle up and down the valley. So
the plane is flying in a rectangle formation?
Yeah, sort of away from the base, down the valley, over the valley, back up there. So I said to her, is it possibly a plane? I knew it wasn't. I said, is it possibly a plane? And she was like, no way, it's not moving. It's, And so we drove on. We missed our turn off, which was hysterical, because we were looking forward to having burgers. And we carried on for another 17 kilometers, like missed our turn off and turned round and then stopped in the car. And she didn't take a photo. I mean, neither one of us can say, it was all so quick.
Yeah.
Neither one of us can say, why wasn't she able to take a photograph? Because my phone was plugged in the central thing, but we just sort of experienced it. And then I didn't see her for a couple of weeks afterwards. And I had to go round and say, well, the next time we saw each other, I said, I wondered how you feel about that. Have you told people? And she told her partner, but she was like, I just have no doubt that was real. So she said, I'm really not freaked out by it, because she said, I've always expected that there's more, but I wasn't freaked out. She said, and we talked about, we were looking at it and saying about the light was shining on it. It was just a really vast ship. It was a really, really vast saucer with
I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you think that it was the same aliens? Is it the same looking ship
No, all three have been so different.
Oh, great. Yeah, because one is a farm ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then one was a classic
Yeah.
cigar-shaped saucer.
Oh, it's like the saucer thing. Like it was almost cartoonish. It was almost like a pie plate, you know.
Yeah.
It was
Did it have
almost,
a little red? This is such a random question, but I swear to God, I have a train of thought to follow.
yeah.
Was there a little red light on the top of it?
I couldn't see a light, no, and it was obscured so that I couldn't see the top of it. It was so high that I couldn't have seen the top of it. I could just see
Okay.
it was one
And
structure at the bottom and one structure at the top, but I couldn't have seen the top of it.
The reason I ask is I've been watching I do a paranormal themed comedy show. I've actually only been researching paranormal stuff earnestly for like the last 6 months or so. So it's a new train of thought for me to follow. And that's why it's exciting for me to do a podcast about it. But I don't have a lot of knowledge yet. All I've been doing is watching Netflix documentaries. And the one that blew my mind had this story where a saucer came to a school in England and three young boys saw it. And the headmaster had them all draw the saucer while they were separated from each other. And they all drew the exact same thing, and it had a little red light on it. And
Amazing.
then they don't comment on this in the documentary. I just noticed it because I'm such an eagle eyed observer. But then another story that was a school in South Africa had a flying saucer descend on the school grounds, and the children actually had telepathic contact with the aliens. It's a really incredible story. I think if you just search South Africa aliens children, you'll be able to find it.
Amazing. Yeah.
But those children also drew the flying saucer, and it also had the red light on it.
Yeah.
So I just think that's amazing that two different countries, two different schools of
Yeah.
children had the exact same description. So that's why I was asking.
and
Yeah.
did your friend's partner continue go through with the marriage after he knew that
Yeah.
she'd
They
seen the
were,
saucer?
yeah.
Great.
They're getting married in September. It's happening. So yeah.
Nice.
Incredible. Do you know that they say after because having had no interest or done any research, then after the fact, I have since 2021, I have been looking more closely at things, of course, and they say that after the nuclear reactor, there was in
Oh,
2012,
the Fukushima. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Virginia, what she's talking about. I'll mansplain to you.
yeah, go for it.
I'll mainsplain.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, in Fukushima, there's videos of it, and there were lights descending on Fukushima, and the radiation levels started going down as the aliens were more prevalent. And I guess there was like even lights that they were shooting into the source of the disaster, and the metrics that they use to test how much radiation is in the air, it all went down very
yeah,
deeply.
yeah.
Yeah. So what were you saying about that? I'm sorry, Becky.
Oh no, well, there does seem to be some link with nuclear power. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there seems to be some link with that and with water. So the
Yes.
they do seem to be in coastal areas, and
That's
in
because they live at the bottom of the ocean.
yeah,
Duh.
amazing. And the Welsh one with the when in that documentary when the children saw the one in way in
Oh, it was whales. Okay.
yeah, but it did appear to go into rocks as well. When it, some people who owned a guest house there saw it appear to go into rocks, which is kind of like a segue because when I was like, well, who do I report this to? Like, do I report this? Is that the
Not to that one doctor.
no, no. Well, I got in touch with somebody, a chap, Peter, I can't remember his second name, but in 1957, I think it was, or 67, there was an incident on the coast here of Nova Scotia, and lots of military and soldiers and stuff, they've gone on record as having witnessed a UFO go hovering and then going down into the water and then a few days making its way underwater and coming out and
Hmm.
disappearing. And that's in England, you'll know the word shag means to fuck, you know. But
Becky, language.
sorry, but Shag Harbour is a place in Nova Scotia where there's
Oh, there's a town called Shag.
Shag Harbour. There's a
Shag
harbour,
Harbor.
Shag Harbour,
In
and that,
Portland, in
yeah.
Portland, we have Wanker's Corner.
Oh, oh, that's magic. I want to. I want. Imagine having that as your address.
I live in Wanker's Corner. Yeah.
But my parents were from Shag Harbor.
Oh, the northern Shag Harbor, the southern Shag Harbor.
So it's got. There's precedent here that it's been. The skies have been quite lively here.
Mm-hmm. I guess the veil is thin, as they like to say.
Yeah. I know. I'm just fascinated, but I'm going to be disappointed. I don't get in the car now and drive up and down the valley without half expecting to see something.
Right.
Yeah. Do you think that it's been something that's helped anxiety for you in general, or it's made anxiety worse for you in
Oh
general?
no. Yeah, no, it's reduced it a lot.
Oh,
Like,
wow. Okay, tell us why.
I suppose I feel like there's somebody else keeping an eye on us,
Mm.
Yeah,
possibly.
that's how I feel too. I think of aliens as the placeholder for what I used to believe, well, for how I should feel about God.
Yeah.
If I was to worship a God, I'm just like, yeah, the aliens are worried about nuclear annihilation. And I wish they were more worried about our elections. But
Yeah.
But
Time, like for real.
yeah,
Andy, have you seen Begonia?
I did. I loved it. It was the best ending of any movie I've ever seen.
Really wild.
The
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
It's a film that, no spoilers, has to do with alien intervention in human affairs.
Right.
And it it is rather sweet that they would care about nuclear disaster, but like, why would they care about it? Like, what does our messing
Well,
up our planet over and over again all the time, how does that affect them?
I think it's because nuclear energy. I had Winslow Domain on the last episode, and he explained it perfectly.
Mm,
So, don't listen to me. Go back to that other episode with Winslow. But like nuclear energy is just like it's something that cannot be destroyed,
mm,
and it's like a permanent alteration of an atom. And my theory is that like if you're messing with particles and atoms in order to travel across the universe through wormholes or black holes or whatever. Like, I think that nuclear radiation fallout, which
might be a
cannot,
concern.
yeah. So it's like it's a type of technology and weapon that's too powerful for us dumb apes to wield. And there are a lot of other instances of spacecrafts deactivating nuclear warheads in Montana, I think in Idaho too, and in Russia. So that almost caused an international incident. But yeah, also the thing about the oceans is there's oceans on other planets. And so aliens can live in those oceans as like their little home. And then as they travel, they go from planet to planet that has ocean to ocean.
Yeah, like an Airbnb.
Yeah, exactly. A literal air, a universal B&B. Yes. But yeah, like there's two things that happen to people who see aliens. One is that they're freaked out forever and the PTSD is enormous and it's hard to shake. And then another thing that happens is people end up with a very calm sense of their place in the universe, which isn't scary at all. And it's just like a sense of calm and maybe even being protected.
That was my instantaneous when you asked Betsy the question. My gut response was, I'll bet it helps you put things in perspective and understand how small all of our day-to-day concerns, who doesn't like me, why my Etsy store isn't doing well. Like, it's like when you lose someone, and for a few, like for me it's like weeks or months, I have a blown out perspective of the importance of the individual in our community, and how unimportant all the things we worry about are.
Yeah.
um but that's me projecting.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lovely thought, though. Project
Yeah.
away as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. I I'm concerned that they are not. able, like if it's a future people who know that we're flirting with disaster, I feel that they must be frustrated. And have they come from a planet, or do they know how valuable this little gem is, Earth?
Hmm.
And I just wish they'd make themselves known a little bit more. And
Hmm.
my distrust of the government is so deep. And if they must have information because um, I can't even think where I read now. Sometimes I go on such rabbit holes that, but the the American government has proof of 5 different civilizations
Hmm.
outside of ours. Like I would like to know where I read that and
I
why.
would too, Becky.
You see, I thought we were meeting at 11 o'clock tonight, so I've
Yeah.
probably done some
No, it's
research.
okay. You can cite that later and I could put it in my little blurb and people can click on
Yeah,
it later.
yeah.
So 5 different civilizations, like um God, we're gonna have to talk about that the next episode. You just laid a little Easter egg that we are gonna uncover in the next episode. So thank you for that, Becky. Um, uh, but I think that humans need to evolve a little bit more before we're ready for the alien stuff. I think they're doing a soft launch right now, where like this generation of people that are all existing within the same 100-year span of each other, everyone on this planet right now is getting a little taste of UFOs. And then maybe in the next generations to come, it's going to get louder and louder as we're more able to accept it. Kind of like how 100 years ago, we didn't know what dinosaurs were. And now that's just basic common knowledge.
Right. And now we know that they're a trick that God made to make us doubt the Bible.
Yeah, in this 5,000-year-old planet. Um, I saw a photo of a Tyrannosaurus Rex yesterday. Not a photo.
A selfie.
I saw a selfie.
With his tiny little arms. It's just his nostrils because he
It's like
can't.
it's from a baby boomer angle. It's very much like
Yeah.
this. Yeah. I saw a drawing of a Tyrannosaurus Rex yesterday, and now there's scientists think that dinosaurs may have all been covered in feathers, especially with like how the dirt in the fossil record spreads out around the dinosaur. I think is like because feathers were
It was
pushing the,
taking up that space.
yeah, exactly. And so they drew this picture of what a Tyrannosaurus Rex could look like with feathers. And he was the cutest little stinker.
Oh,
He was just
wow.
like a big old chicken. I just wanted to hug him.
I am friends with 2 budgies. Budgerigars is their full name that I found out when I Google photoed them and it says Budgerigar. I'm like, oh, that's their full name. Um, but all they talk about all day long is how they used to be dinosaurs and they don't know how to get to be dinosaurs again, but when they do, they're gonna stomp all over everything.
That's the long-term plan for budgies.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. Um yeah. I love how this discussion laid out, Becky. Like, thank you so much for sharing that with me.
so
When you told your husband, how did he react?
he was really super cool, like surprisingly cool. And he knows that I'm not like I
Right.
wouldn't say a thing, you know. And because yeah, it was a Monday and Wednesday, and I think I left it till the weekend to say, not a Sunday afternoon, but I did tell him that I've got something to tell you, and I don't want you to think that I'm crazy. So then I told him, and then when the next time my kids came home, I said, I've got something to tell you. And then I told one friend, and she said, actually, I was in a hot tub once, and a row of lights, not the SpaceX thingy, but
Mhm.
a row of lights were hovering and darting around. And she said, I've always suspected that that was something else. And
Yeah.
so,
I You mentioned SpaceX, and so this is your fault. But One
This
time,
podcast is sponsored by SpaceX, by the way.
No.
so SpaceX has their headquarters is just south of Los Angeles, near El Segundo, which is where the airport is. And one night I was driving in Los Angeles and I saw like there were lights in the sky and it looked kind of like part of space boiling away. Like it was a multicolored like miasma with lights in it and um very upsetting. All of Twitter was very upset. I was very upset. And the next day SpaceX just said, "Oh yeah, that was some stuff we were doing." Give a bitch a heads up. You're
Yeah.
going to be doing weird shit in the sky.
You need
Yeah.
to
Karen
tell.
Kilgariff has a story about that. Karen Kilgariff is a well-known comedian and podcaster here in the greatest country on earth, Becky.
Yeah.
And she has a story about that where she saw like, you know how those rockets like kind of land backwards or
Yeah.
whatever it is that Elon's trying to do. She saw those like three of them land all at once. She was at a probably at the same time you were, Virginia, saw those things. And she was on like a rooftop at a party and she thought that we were literally getting invaded.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, don't even worry about this stuff." Yeah, I'm worried about it. Worried about
Yeah.
it, bud. Yeah.
All right.
Well, friends, Becky, I really appreciate you reaching out to me and spending your time with me today, putting your vat of butter behind you that's slowly melting on your stove to the side.
Enjoy.
Wow. Yeah, I can't. Can you mail me some cookies when they're done?
I probably could, they
Okay.
wouldn't go through customs.
Okay. Well,
Ooh.
let's see how that goes. I'll mail you some drugs and we'll just see if it's fun or not. We'll do a little experiment. I'll mail you some weed. I don't know.
We can just go down the road and buy it.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll mail you some stickers.
All
How's
right.
that?
That's almost like weed.
Yeah. So weed for your soul. So Becky, you're an artist too, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
What kind of
Uh,
art do you make?
I paint oil paintings of landscapes and people, and I also collect small Playmobil like Lego, but Playmobil figures, and I paint those.
Oh,
So,
cute. Is
Wow.
your work for sale anywhere?
yes, it is. And I just got a lovely email to say that I've just sold two paintings, which is very nice before Christmas.
Woo!
So yeah, yeah.
Congratulations. Let's sell some more of them. Becky, where can people find your art?
On Instagram, Becky Thompson Art,
Yeah,
all one word. That's where I am.
that's lovely.
Thanks.
Um, Virginia, where can people find you and what would you like to plug?
Well, I have my own podcast called My
People who
Sisters.
listen to my podcast aren't allowed to listen to any others.
Right. If you quit listening to Annie's podcast first, you can check out my podcast, My Sister's a Therapist. My Sister's a Therapist, and then that's what we do. We talk about that.
You guys
And
do therapy, like active therapy?
there's real no, because she's not allowed because she's my sister.
Oh,
But although I have tried to use her for free therapy before, but a lot of her clients listen, and she has given out real useful clinical knowledge, like real good therapeutic advice on this podcast for free.
hmm.
And it's also a ton of fun. So it's My Sister's a Therapist.
Do you guys
You can,
talk about like personality disorders?
of course.
Okay.
Why wouldn't we?
That's all I want to talk about
We
personality
talk about
disorders.
personality disorders, attachment issues, the patriarchy,
Oh
things
boy.
happening on TikTok. Today we talked a lot about Lily Hallen and David Harbour.
I don't know who those people are.
Oh, if you're on TikTok, she's a pop singer, and he's the sheriff from Stranger Things that I used to have a crush on.
Yeah.
And they got married, and immediately after they got married, he said, "I need an open relationship," and she's like, "Oh, okay." And then they set ground rules, and then he just broke all of them and just was banging a lady for years. And she wrote a whole album about it, about
Oh, that
trying
okay. Yeah.
trying her best to be what he wanted and being betrayed repeatedly.
Mm.
And anyway, so with all humility, I will suggest that you listen to it because it's got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
Anyone interested in my comedy career and why would you be? It's www.badinia.com, BADINIA. And I have a calendar up there for anyone in the Pacific Northwest. And my TikTok is also Badinia, BADINIA. It's a
Why did you
nonsense
choose
show.
the moniker Badinia?
One person guessed it the first try. So guess.
I thought it was bad Inya.
That's that's a brain problem that you have.
That's
It
the
is
only one.
it is how a child said my name to me and I said, "Oh, that's cute."
Oh,
Because Virginia.com is the state of Virginia and they're attached to it. And then VirginiaJones.com is a realtor in Berkeley who won't die.
ugh,
I've been stalking her
rude.
for 18 years. How long can you sell realty in the Berkeley area? And the answer is infinity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until the next earthquake. Um,
Andy, where can people find you on the internet should they wish to do so?
well, my all of my tags are under my name, Andy Main. So on TikTok, I'm at Andy Main. On Instagram, I'm at Andy Main. My website is andymain.org.
Right. You're a
Mhm.
sellout.
I don't know. I know that I bought a website for andymain.com 1,000 years ago, and then I let the title expire and someone
Now
squatted on
someone's
it.
sitting on it.
Yeah, and so now it's selling like stuff in a Asian language that I can't decipher.
Cool.
Yeah, so don't go
I
to
hope
that
it's
one.
I hope it's dick pills.
I hope it's like panda and rhino. Yeah, definitely.
Bits.
Oh, I wanted to say, the I've only done secondhand therapy where I'll just take advice that other people have learned in therapy and apply it to my life. And the best piece of secondhand therapy I've ever received, something that I use to help me many times in a month, is when something terrible happens to me. I ask myself, is this going to bother you in an hour? Is this going to bother you in a week? Is this going to bother you in 3 months? And the answer is always no once we get to the 3 month question. And then I ask myself, well, why is it bothering you right now?
It's share philosophy.
That's what it is.
I heard it from Cher.
Cher told me that. That's cool. Thanks, Cher.
And it's great. It 100% is. And it's like the alien sighting. It helps you zoom out your
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so on that note, my car got broken into yesterday.
Ugh,
And I lost a $200 gift card that I was going to use for a hotel and for Christmas. And I lost $50 cash. And then I had to replace my ID. So that all cost me 310. And while it was happening and while I was figuring it out, I wasn't even bothered by it. I was like, oh, it's
these are
just
just chores I have to do.
yeah, literally. And then I asked the internet for help to recoup my losses so I can use it as a way to sell merch because I'm a ruthless capitalist. And many lovely people donated to me in some small and some large amounts, and I am so grateful for them that I'm gonna go yell their names at the ocean, which is my brand. If you've been following me on the social medias, you know that that's my hobby is yelling profound truths at the ocean. So I'm gonna thank them on Christmas Day when Christmas is saved because of their kindness.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it really is. It takes a village to let Andy not
It
lock her car like an idiot.
it takes a village to keep Andy Main's shit together.
Yeah. That's the title of this episode.
Becky, it was very good meeting you.
Really nice to meet you too. Thank you, guys. It's been fun.
That was
Really.
so fun. Thank you all so much. I don't have any other calls to action than just don't talk to authority figures about your paranormal experiences because they're gonna make you feel like crap. Talk to me instead. Email me about your stuff and we'll have you on the podcast. My email is andymain@gmail.com. So thanks everybody. I don't have outgoing music or outros or anything, so I'm just gonna say we went feral. Mission accomplished. Thank you so much. I'm
Bye
gonna hit
bye.
pause on the recording.